Hello, Scorpio. This is Fox Astrology and Tarot here with your monthly transit and tarot reading for August 2019. Here I have a few insights just before I get started. If you have a Scorpio Ascendant, this video is going to be great as I'm going to have a few more extra details for you based on where your house placements are in your natal chart. If you're a Scorpio Sun or a Scorpio Moon, I have maybe 1 or 2 points, but if it'd be really much more beneficial to round out your report, or I guess you could say for what's coming in August, if you were to check out the sign that is your rising sign. I have a video for that. You can check out the link below where I have a playlist with all the different signs, both for love and for general readings. This is the general reading version. I have a love reading version that covers more about romance, more about the love life. So you can check that out too if you want to get more specifics about your relationships, whether you're single or whether you're in a partnership right now. It's going to have the same kind of helpfulness, same kind of use for you. So as always, check those out, and I'll go ahead and get started now with some transit information. I pulled some cards from my Cathar Tarot deck that kind of resonate with these transits energy and maybe hopefully provide a good example of what that might look like in the tarot world, seeing these cards and explaining it, the transits this way. So starting off on Mercury retrograde, on the 3rd it goes back into direct. It's going to be jumping right into Cancer right after that. As a Scorpio, you're a water sign, fixed. The Cancer is a little bit more, it has a little bit more energy of initiative, of starting projects, that sort of thing. So in Cancer, this will be helpful as it goes direct, helping with communication, helping with really in sense of stability and security. Emotionally, will be helping a little bit with your communication. On the 7th, we have the Sun trining Jupiter in Scorpio, and on the 8th, we have Venus trining Jupiter in Scorpio. So this is some great boosts to you, seeing as Scorpio is your Sun or your Moon or your Ascendant. This is going to be a great boost, especially if you have your Sun in Scorpio. This is a nice little reset. So it's also likely that this lines up roughly with your birth month. So even better, right? We have the 9 of Wisdom from the Cathar Tarot. I feel like is a great boost to intimacy, to self-awareness, to maturity in general. With the Sun and Venus trining Jupiter, this is about expansion, this is about growth, this is about development, about, what's the word, I guess, wisdom, like I mentioned before, maturity and kind of self-education, self-awareness. So for you personally, in your life, this may seem like a great boost of energy, both to, feeling great about who you are, really understanding yourself on a deeper level. And with Venus involved, this is going to be helping with self-care, self-understanding, self-love. Great transit for you, Scorpio. On the 13th, we have the Sun in conjunction with Venus sitting into Cancer. Both are in Cancer on that time. So I pulled out the Ace of Shields. I feel like this is a great kind of a go forward state where you're really going to feel like, I guess, feeling like really blessed, feeling really comfortable in your body, feeling really in control, or not necessarily in control so much as feeling optimistic and enthusiastic about the situations going on around you, whether or not they're good or bad, feeling kind of like all right with it either way, right? So seeing as Venus is in Cancer, if you have a Scorpio Ascendant, this is sitting in your 9th house. I would say great opportunity for kind of educating yourself, maybe experiencing a little adventure, getting out, maybe finding a situation where you can teach or be taught by somebody would also be pretty good. This may be in terms more emotionally, since it's in Cancer. This may take place in more of like an emotional experience that teaches you something. But we'll see how that pans out. On the 16th, we have Mercury squaring Uranus in Aries. So I see this as kind of related to the Montsegur card, or in Rider-Waite Tarot, this is like the Tower card. This is a little bit of a shakeup. Involving Uranus with Aries, this is some fire energy, this is some renovation, some newness. But with a square to Mercury, this may end up coming across as kind of a mess in terms of communication, in terms of how you express yourself clearly. This may kind of butt heads with that energy. So just keep in mind as you're going through this transit that this is clearing away old structures, old behaviors, to make room for new things, things to improve stability, improve security. So it's kind of like an out with the old, in with the new situation. You may feel a little vulnerable during this transit, as it may feel kind of unstable, not having those stability and that security in place. But what's coming in later is going to be better, so just hang on to that. Also, I didn't want to forget to mention, this is in your 5th house, if you have a Scorpio ascendant. So this energy happening in your 5th house may, like I just mentioned, have to do with expression, have to do with maybe creative expression, any kind of risk-taking. Be careful around those kinds of experiences, as risk-taking may not pay off very well during this transit. It's Mercury, so it happens quick, but just watch out. Make sure you're dotting your I's, crossing your T's. If you're releasing any kind of publications, putting any of your personal work out there, be really careful, as it could be somehow miscommunicated as you're moving forward. On the 17th, we have Venus moving into Leo. On the 18th, we have Sun moving into Leo. And on the 27th, we have Mercury moving into Leo. I've pulled out the Three of Wisdom because I feel like this card really talks about recognition, realizing the impact that you've had on other people. Seeing as Leo sits in your 10th house, I feel like this is really important for you in terms of your reputation, in terms of the community that you participate in, whether that's your work or whether that's outside of work, where you really feel like you're socially, in the right place. If you just kind of have like a side job and your other passion is this maybe more a place where you're more recognized for your role in the community, this is a great opportunity to get creative. I know that basically just the day before, the 16th, we had this square, but like I mentioned, it's going to go by fast. So during this month, I feel overall this experience is going to really be boosting your reputation, really boosting kind of like this idea that the best version of yourself is what you want to use during this month, as maybe you'll be recognized more, you'll be noticed more, you'll be more visible with this Leo energy. Something about leadership, something about being out in front and kind of showing people a new way of doing something, an interesting way of doing something, a fun way of doing something, a creative way. So take a look at this month in terms of opportunities for maybe for you to show the best version of yourself, to kind of show off, what you're like, in a good mood, what you're like when you have a good opportunity, that you don't waste it, that you don't kind of slack off, I guess. This is a really great time to take advantage of this energy, kind of harness it for, your movement forward. So look out for that. On the 21st, we have Mercury trining Saturn in Sagittarius, which Sagittarius is in your 2nd house if you're a Scorpio ascendant. I would take a look out for maybe opportunities with travel. Saturn being involved here may make this area in your life a little, maybe feel like it's such a deep focus right now that it actually makes it difficult for you to relax and allow things to happen in their own time. Saturn kind of messes with your effort. It seems like everywhere you put your effort in this area of your life, this kind of adventure, wisdom, maturity, experience, newness, Saturn is really kind of trying to figure out where your effort level should be in this area of your life, as it might make you feel like, every time I try to make something happen, it blows up in my face. But when something falls in my lap and I just respond to it naturally, it works out perfectly. And this is the best approach with Saturn sitting in this area of your life right now. Mercury trining Saturn makes this another opportunity here for expression, communication, the sharing of ideas, and connecting with others through ideas. So maybe think about some writing, some journaling, maybe just if you have a social media, if you have a way of connecting with people through writing through words, that this would be a great time to do that. On the 24th, we have Venus in conjunction with Mars in Leo. This is a great opportunity for you in this community where all of a sudden you're going to get this boost of empathy, this sensitivity, I would say even some psychicness for you, Scorpio, as that's kind of par for the course for Scorpio signs, feeling this deep level of intuition and sensitivity to what other people are feeling, the truth of what's going on underneath maybe what people are presenting. And I've pulled up the Two of Love here, as I feel like it's a great time for you to really find what other people are passionate about, try to help them remove obstacles, try to connect really with where they're at and support them through that time. And in return, this will really help support you later on. Venus and Mars together really combine the best strengths of both worlds. This willpower, this kind of persistence and dedication and commitment to achieving your goals and achieving your plans that you have, combined with Venus, where it's about beauty, aesthetics, self-love, and loving others, as well as being receptive and really being open to what other people or what other opportunities there are out there. This will really open you up, as it's really this great kind of duo. So I really look forward to that for you. And that happens in Leo. So if your ascendant is Scorpio, that's in your 10th house. I feel like it's another opportunity for you to really increase your reputation, increase your influence and your role in your community. So on the 26th, we have a couple of trines happening right at the end of the month, all trining with Uranus in Aries. We have Venus on the 26th, we have on the 28th, Mars trining Uranus, and on the 29th, the Sun trining Uranus. This is a big shift. Aries sitting in your 5th house, if you have a Scorpio ascendant, this is going to be a really big shift in perspective. You're going to really, all of a sudden, you're going to notice, almost like it's like you've discovered a new realm of possibilities, a new taste, a new area, or a new, honestly, maybe a new tool or a new medium for you to work in. Now, Uranus does like to shake things up, but since this is a trine, this is going to come in really effortlessly. It's going to seem like just like an epiphany. Uranus likes to do this kind of epiphany kind of stuff where all of a sudden lightning strikes you, you have this crazy idea, and just everything changes. So I brought out the Bonhomme card. This is kind of like the Fool card in the Rider-Waite Tarot. I feel like this shift in perspective is going to make, at first, it's going to be really exciting, really interesting, and really new. After that wears off, it's going to have some, you're going to feel maybe a little unfamiliar, a little unstable, but this is obviously, Uranus loves to reform, old traditions and things that aren't really supporting your progress or supporting your evolution. So it seems like this month, wrapping up in general, is a huge creative boost to you. And as a fixed water sign, I would say to make sure to open yourself up to this experience in an emotional way, as you may be feeling a little uncomfortable with these new changes, maybe feeling like a little sensitive, especially with this Venus and Mars conjunction and this Mercury and Uranus square. Just know that this is all going to be improving the situation for you long term. Keep your eye on the prize, so to speak. I'm going to do a quick tarot reading. I'm going to pull a couple of cards and just see if there's any general messages for you in August, and that'll be it. I also recommend, like I mentioned at the beginning, check out your sun and moon sign if this is a Scorpio ascendant for you. Check out the playlist below and see the other videos I put together for your sign in a sun or in a moon, and that will really help round out what's going on for you. I also am putting together a video to really help explain the difference between the sun and the moon sign and the rising sign. When it comes to reading reports for yourself, it'll really help to use all three, because it's the best kind of combination you can get without literally getting a full natal chart or a full transit report from me. You can just make use of the best on your own. All right, so overall, there's introspection. This is a really easy thing for Scorpio to really get to the uncomfortable truth, the darkness, the shadow side of reality. Being deeply in touch with that this month is going to be a great time for introspection. It's going to come easy to you. We have a couple of planets trining with Jupiter in Scorpio. We have a little bit of Cancer action, which is in your element, water. And then we also have fire, which tends to inspire or uplift, which for an emotional water sign, fire signs can be energizing and can be uplifting. Occasionally you might feel like you're getting a little burned, maybe a little too risk involved, maybe a little too high up in the sky kind of dreams, but don't worry. This introspection, this grounding process of taking a look at what you're going through, taking a look at how you're feeling is really going to help. Taking a look at that will really help you process this on a ground level, so that when the time comes and you want to get inspired and you want to have this big perspective, the eagle is here. This is all about really keeping an eye on the prize, like I mentioned. Zoom out. Take a big look at the terrain, your surroundings, where you're planning on going. Have this kind of eagle eye perspective as you look long distance, sharply at what you're trying to approach, what your goals are, what your plans are, and use that spiritual perspective, understanding, where you are in life, accepting where you're at, accepting whatever mistakes you've made, accepting whatever you've done that maybe you feel insecure about, or maybe who you are and what you feel insecure about that, accepting that part of yourself spiritually, loving yourself, loving the journey that you're on, and recognizing that it's a little bit by little bit process. And spiritually understanding what your purpose here is on the earth, and using that purpose to guide you through this journey, guide you through the decision-making process. So hopefully this helps you. I look forward to your comments and your feedback. Please feel free to comment below and let me know how this is going for you. I'm going to be doing this every month from now on, so I look forward to seeing you later. Make sure to subscribe if you want to catch my newer uploads, and make sure to hit the bell as well. You can get notified as soon as I upload new transits. I do these monthly ones, I do weekly choose your message readings, and I do weekly transit reports just to try and fill in the extra details from any big transits that are happening. So I look forward to hearing from you. Peace out.